here we are in the apiary again. It's a fairly warm day today, 15 degrees on my car, so I just want to see if they're all taking pollen in. Well, that one is, that one is, and that one is. So those three are okay. Alright, how about these? Are these taking pollen in? Yeah, plenty of pollen going in there and in there. Now, what about this one? This one was a bit dubious at the... Yeah, something's not right about that one. That one may have failed in the winter, because although it's got bees going around it, they're all going in the wrong place, and they're not, can't see any pollen going in, so I think that's one of the first to have a look at and see what's going on. I think that might have failed. Pollen going in there, pollen going in down there. Can't see pollen going in here yet. Plenty of bees going in and out. Oh, pollen going in. Yeah, pollen going in there. I want to take this one to bits today. It needs its feeder sorting out. Pollen going in there. There's plenty of pollen about now. What about these over here? Pollen going in there. Pollen going in there. Now this was a really strong hive last year, but that doesn't mean it's going to be strong this year. So we want to see pollen going in. The bees are going in. Don't see pollen going in at the moment. Be surprised if it doesn't, with the number of bees going in and out. But no pollen yet. Oh, pollen going in. Not a lot of pollen going in there. Right. Yeah, pollen going in that one. Pollen going in that one. Of course, some of the pollen's hard to see. It's not all bright yellow, like some of it is, but not all of it. What about this one? Oh yeah, bright yellow pollen going in there. Great. This one is an old hive. I say old, it's not got a 2022 queen in it. It's got a 2021 queen in it, so that one is due for requeening this year. In about another 4 weeks time, this one will be due to leave the apiary. It's got a 2022 queen in it, as both of those have too, those at the end, and both of these have 2022 queens. This is the angry queen, the angry hive that's got to go. So that's one of the first jobs to do this year, is to get rid of that hive from here. Right, well, I fear that the bees I'm just going in to check this out. It's got fondant on, but it's not being eaten. Oh, well, no, there were bees in there. They're up in the super. No, I'll have a look, see whether they've got some, what food they've got, if they've got brood or not. So, they have brood, small patch of brood there, in the super frames. I think they've just about hung on through winter, just about made it. I'm going to put another super on top of this super with some more stores in, because I think they might need that. Well, we hope. They're very small. We hope they can struggle on through. Well, this super's got loads of stores here, so I'm putting it on top of this rather weak colony, and I can just leave it for weeks and just let them do their thing, and they'll either build up and be okay, or they'll dwindle, but at least it'll give them plenty of food. And the only problem is it might give them too much food. Once the weather warms up, the other bees might decide to get in and have a go, in which case they could wipe out this little colony. So I might have to take some of it out again later on. Well, that's pretty disgusting. That's the floor of this hive, and yeah, pretty horrible. So we can clean that off. Won't do any harm at all. I think a new floor for this one is in order. I've cleaned that off a bit, but it's pretty rotten and soggy. It's a good job we had a dry winter, because this would have been really nasty in a wet winter. Pretty nasty in a dry winter. Well, they're not actually short of stores. That's not the reason why they're a small colony. They've got stores in this brood box which they've been accessing, and they've got stores in that super. So I don't think I'm going to put this other box of honey on. I think it will just upset things. I'd love to do something else with that. And these will just have to well, they're not much good really. We'll leave them to their own devices. Nearly all gone. There was a big block of fondant there which they've eaten. Nearly all the honey that was in there has been eaten, and I would reckon all the honey, not all of it, there's some there, but a lot of the honey there has been eaten. So I'm going to try and clean this up a little bit. There's a second queen cell in the making there, which is charged. On the other side there is some quite young brood, drone brood, but no eggs. So shut it up and leave it alone and see what happens. Feed it and feed it. It needs feeding. Okay, right, that's some emergency fondant. Put in that feed chamber. That will keep them fed for the next few days. And in the meantime, it's time to go to the stores and start buying sugar again, make up some syrup for these bees. Fortunately, they hadn't completely run out of stores. There's still quite some honey left there. I'm going to put it underneath this feeder, I think. Squeeze it between the frames. Get it in there somehow. A bit more here. Not much left apart from that. So, yeah. Alright, that's the last bit of honey squeezed out onto the top of the frames there. Bees can deal with that. Put the feeder back on. These bees are not finding their way home very easily, but I guess they will. Well, that explains why there wasn't a lot of pollen going into this hive. It's because they don't have a laying queen. They have queen cells. But they've decided to do that, and they must have had a queen to lay the eggs when they made the queen cells, so she may still be there. I haven't seen her. There's no eggs that I could see, so it seems strange that they would get rid of her, but I guess if she's failing and not laying, there's not a lot they can do with her. So leave it alone for a month. Well, apart from feeding it needs feed. So give it loads of sugar syrup in the next month, and then hope that they've sorted themselves out. Not one for sale. Well, they've just about all moved, but I think some of them might be joining the colony down below. These are all going in okay. I guess they'll all get themselves sorted out one way or the other. I don't really mind if they join the colony down below. Doesn't need very many bees to look after the queen cell up in this top one. Whether the bees in the colony down below want a new influx of immigrants is hard to say. But if they don't, I guess I'll kick them out. If they do, then well, so much the better. This box is settling down now. The ones at the bottom, I think, went into the bottom hive, and these ones are gradually all going in. They're quite dark bees and fairly uniform. Didn't give me any grief. So it'll be interesting to see how they get on with raising a new queen. They've got their new setup just as I'd like to set it up, with one cap queen cell and one open queen cell but charged. That's how I like to set my nukes up. So this is the bees doing it for themselves. So let's hope it's successful, and let's hope they get themselves a nice strong new queen that they actually like, rather than one that's failing. I don't think it was a late mated queen, this one. This is quite often what happens, I find, with late mated queens. As soon as the bees get an opportunity, they replace them in the spring. This one wasn't particularly late mated, I don't think. I'd have to look back and see when it was set up.